Hello everyone. I hope your week brought you some positive experiences. I took the chance to visit a close-by castle ruin early in the morning this week. It stayed dry throughout my visit, but the underground was still wet and muddy from all the rain we previously had, and my dress and boots suffered a good bit. Saltcoats Castle is not very known and not signposted, so it sees visitors only from the local area. It has a feeling of sleeping beauty to it, as brambles grow everywhere and make it inaccessible in the summer months. I would like to take the opportunity to say thank you for all the lovely comments and messages and kind words of praise for my content you sent recently. It really humbles me to hear your words, as I did not grow up in a society where praise is part of the culture. It was in fact frowned upon to speak highly of yourself as vain or egoistic, and not being scolded was the most praise you could get from other people. Since I live in Scotland, this is very different, and I have to say that I like it a lot. People here have kind words for you all the time and praise you when they think you are doing something well. It felt strange to me in the beginning to ever use words of praise to describe something that I have done, but eventually agreed that it made no sense to only speak about your shortcomings and never about your strengths. I used to be my own best critic, like most of us, and this critic can still be present today. But I have changed and learned to acknowledge my strengths as much as my weaknesses. I always had high expectations of myself. This grew from being a single mother for 16 years after the father of my son decided to walk away shortly after he was born. In this time, I was the only one responsible for a new life, making all the decisions by myself and dealing with everything alone. That's when my expectations of myself started to be high, and maybe rightfully so. My son is a happy adult today who looks back on a nice childhood. I came to realize later, though, that I was still holding on to the expectations, and moving to Scotland was when I shifted my view on myself. I have done well in raising a child by myself whilst relocating to a foreign country and starting my own business at the same time. To bring the dream of living in Scotland to life and creating a life of content is a big personal achievement, and of course I am allowed to praise myself for it. We will always find people who try to find fault in us, in the online world or the offline world. And often our mind is wired to remember the people who weren't kind. Hurt and pain is harder to overcome, and so are the memories of them. But it is also up to us to shift negative impact or comments we were given. Reflecting on input and finding it true or not helps me to deal with these situations. I hold the power to let other people's words affect me. This isn't an easy thing to really do, but it is also a tool we can use to protect ourselves. I can allow myself to be kind to myself today, to see little achievements I can be proud of. I have also learned to say nice things about myself out loud, which was an uncommon thing in the past, as I find that as much as we can comment on our shortfalls and weaknesses, we can comment on our strengths and skills. Life can vary so much for everyone, and that's why praise can too. But praise isn't bound to big life-changing things you do. It can be the day you finally decluttered that wardrobe, or the day you started to run and made it to full 5 minutes. If we are kind to ourselves and praise ourselves, we become happier people, and we change the relationship with our best friend, which should be us. Letting go of expectations and acknowledging achievements changed my inner world and made me more happy and balanced. This week's bake was a lemon blueberry cake. I found the recipe in a local magazine and had all the ingredients in the house to make it. The result was a success, so it made it into my collection of recipes. And now I would like to say goodbye, and to those of you who need to hear it, well done. Have a lovely week, and I see you soon. Tapath.